Hi guys, this is All from New York Chats. So yesterday I had an amazing time seeing the latest production from Main Street Players. It's called SALIDA, Exit. It's a production brought to you by Nicholas Quintana, a local Broadway, well he soon will be, a director, actor, producer. It's his latest work, again, SALIDA. Check it out. We had a full interview on location at the Main Street Players. Thank you so much to you guys for giving us the space after the show, and to all the actors after a great opening night to hang out with us for a little bit and share your organizational process and creative process, on how you organize yourself to create this awesome, fun, very, very relatable play called SALIDA. Go check it out. And here's the interview. And don't forget to subscribe. Hi guys, how are you? This is All from New York Chats. So we are live here at Main Street Players in Miami Lakes, and we are here with...
My name is Nicholas Quintana. I am the author and playwright of SALIDA, which is right now just had its opening night at Main Street Players in Miami Lakes.
Thank you so much for having us. It was an amazing production. As a Cuban-American, I love the way you told our story, and I won't think too much into it, but can you tell me a little bit about your creative process on SALIDA? I mean, the Cuban-American story is the immigrant story. You know, every immigrant with trials and tribulations, ups and downs, differences with your familia, your family. But can you explain to me just sort of what motivated you to share the story that seems very personal? Because it was a very simple story, but there was so many anecdotes that were very personal, that aren't always the American immigrant story.
Yeah. This was heavily based around my family.
Okay.
And originally this was going to be a play for Ricky J. Martinez's Miami One Act Festival.
Okay.
It was only going to be like a 15-minute piece, and then I wrote it. And then it became 20 pages. And I wrote it, and then it became 30 pages. So it constantly, instead of it being a thing that I knew was going to be this, and then the end, it's just nurtured and grew along with me as a playwright into what you see today. Okay. It's kind of like a little seed. You see a seed germinating. It's really interesting. Okay. And a lot of the characters in this play are based on my family members. Okay. And they're kind of amalgamations of this. My brother came out to my family in 10th grade in high school. Okay. And so Julio's sort of process of going through what he's going through is very reminiscent of my brother's time trying to talk to my family members about this. Now, my family didn't take it as harshly as his family did. Yeah. This is exaggerated for dramatic effect. Right. But this is something that is very, very near to heart, even if I wasn't the one who did it.
And it's also very relatable, because what I loved about it is that it's not a simple story, it's a very convoluted story, but you did it in your anecdotes were just so on point, where you said a lot in a short time. You talk about it goes into politics. Very simple. I know that's not what your focus was, but you focus on politics. You focus on creativity. You focus on self-esteem. mental health. Familia. What really matters in life. So many different philosophies that and you mentioned obviously that your family took it a lot differently, more positively, obviously, the characters in SALIDA. What motivated you? Was it just like the obvious, I want to do it because I want to tell the story? Or was it something that like your brother was like, oh yeah, man, let's talk, tell the story. What motivated you to talk about this?
I was a first-hand witness to my brother going through what Julio was going through in his play. And so that partly was the thing that inspired me to write this piece, as well as, like I said, my one act. The theme specifically, I believe it was 2023. The theme for that year, if I'm not mistaken, was Miami and the holidays. I wanted to write something that thought of I wanted to write a play about something that happens in the holidays, and that has the conflict. I wanted to write something about my brother. And what came to mind was dominoes. Every day, every Christmas Eve that I have, I play dominoes, and that's like the thing. So 3 in the morning, and I play with my dad, my uncles, and my brother.
I always say that, to add to your point, dominoes or backgammon, wherever you're from, wherever your family, games
course, the holidays and funerals and weddings tend to always bring the best or the worst. But I think that if it does bring out the worst, it tends to have a sense of resolution. It really does. Conflict resolution. And I think that nails it very perfectly. And not to harp on the current times, but the play definitely touches upon, like I said, politics and mental health and self-doubt and ambition and familia. What does that mean, right? So I think so many of that. What was the toughest? If you don't mind, I like to have it in my Barbara Walsh.
Ask away.
What was the easiest part of putting this play together, and what was the most difficult part?
This is so generally.
Yeah.
The easiest and simplest thing was surprisingly the dialogue. I have discovered over the course of making this play that I am very much attuned to creating very conversational dialogue.
Okay.
I take inspiration from playwrights like Jose Rivera, who wrote The House of Ramon Iglesias, which I had much fortune. I had the fortune to act in it. I took a lot of inspiration from his work as well as Bruce Norris, the snappy style of conversation that Cubans have. I would say that dialogue was the simplest thing. The toughest thing, depending on where we are in the timeline, I would say the most recent toughest thing has been I had to rewrite the entire second act before we even started rehearsals.
Really?
What you saw now was a completely different monster to what the second act originally was.
Okay. Can you share a little bit?
Of course. The second act originally took place instead of 6 years after.
Okay.
Not spoiling too much. Instead of 6
years
after the first act, it took place 24.
Oh wow!
And instead of it being
a whole other generation was even born.
And so instead of it being the same characters, all the characters would have swapped places. So the grandfather would have played an older Martin, the father.
Okay.
And Manny in the first act would have played an older Julio and his husband Nathan.
Okay.
And Julio's character would have played Lucas, Julio's surrogate, who was wanting to learn more about his family after being so far away from them in Chicago for 20-something years.
Well, I think to your accreditation on that, again, talking about conflict resolution and family and how so many times, the times of celebration also tend to be times of a lot of conflict, but a lot of play. And I think by you doing that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that instead of having a continuous argument, 25 years, you close the chapter and start that happy or an accepting new beginning, right? And a very relevant to the times of today. You know?
And I felt like setting it in the times of today, because originally also the timeline for this was that Act 1 was in 2000, Act 2 was in present day.
Right.
Now everything is very close together.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was more, I was able to make the dialogue a bit more something that I know.
Okay.
A bit more recent, a bit more Gen Z, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is something that I know more than older generations.
Right. What character do you, since it's so much was taken out of your own family, I want to assume, but I could be wrong, what character do you personally identify with?
Me? That I personally...
Or do you identify with anything at all? Based on, since it's a lot of based on your own family.
If I were to answer this question when I first wrote this play, it would be Julio, the child.
Okay.
But now that I've gone through the process and that I've grown as a person,
who do you identify more as?
I identify more with Martin.
That's what I thought.
I've grown to love Martin more as a character that I relate to rather than Julio, surprisingly. And it's maybe just because that I've grown to be, like, in the time that I've spent writing this, I've grown as a person. I've become more of, like, a person that thinks consciously about what they're going to do, what they're thinking, instead of, I used to be very impulsive back in the day. Very brash, very impulsive. So now it's become, I'm more thoughtful, I'm more careful, I think about the repercussions of my actions. And comparing Julio now, where he's more impulsive, to Martin being more careful and thinking about the repercussions of why are you doing this. I relate to Martin's wanting to be a father, a father figure, a mentor, more.
It definitely comes out of your creative process because at the end you close and I was like, it just closed perfectly. No hypocrisy, a lot of acceptance, a lot of creativity. Now, of course, as the audience, I'm like, oh, I wonder what is going to next. Like, la boda, like you want to know what's next.
Yeah.
So on that, what's next? If you want to share, what's next in your projects?
Some projects coming up.
I mean, this just came out today.
Yes.
And we'll put all the links below on the
I have little brains. So
what do you think? If you want to just share,
I have more now. Okay, so I'm a big person about like classical literature, and I'm writing. I love classical. I love.
You know que ya me quites el oído. A ver, tell me.
I'm writing this is the way I describe it to people, a Spaceballs version of the Faustian tragedy.
Okay.
Like the play Dr. Faustus by Dad. I'm writing that.
Okay.
And it's all in verse.
And for it to be a play.
It's going to be a full stage play, and most, if not all of the play is going to be in verse. I have a specific rhyme, intended, and reason that I'm doing the verse for the play, and each character is going to have a different way of manner of speaking. It's such a convoluted piece. It's going to take me a little while to write.
Yeah.
And I'm writing a play about the story of Sorry, which is
I don't know.
You know kaiju movies, Godzilla, stuff like that. Godzilla. So Pulgasari. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Pulgasari is the only kaiju movie to come out of North Korea.
Okay.
The only one.
Yeah.
And it was only because Kim Jong-il kidnapped the director from South Korea and his wife and forced him to make the movie because he wanted movies in North Korea.
Yeah.
And so it's about his story of making the first ever kaiju movie for a country that would surprisingly not think of making kaiju movies.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
It's very relevant, especially now where I feel like, not now, but in the past 10 years, there's this whole Asian continent rave. But then, we think of K-pop and all the stuff that's trending, but there's so much more. I mean, I grew up in an era much older than you of Bruce Lee and
Into the Dragon.
And
I love that movie.
But just, my husband is from Guyana, and he looked at all your Asian movies about martial arts and jiu-jitsu, but even going back to black and white. So it's good for people to have a bigger window of that end of the world on what this is. So, felicidades. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
SALIDA will be showing at Main Street Players until today's opening night.
Today's opening night. It will play until August 2nd. I believe it's every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Awesome. And all the links below to get tickets and all social media on all the actor and yourself will be below. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to support the arts, guys.
Support the arts. Those are very